Morning, church family. How's lunch settling into your tummy? Oh, I was like, while I get myself sorted, just. That was one of the best lunches I've had in a while.
You're welcome next Sabbath.
Yeah. I know next Sabbath will probably be a big one for you guys. It's going to be a massive Sabbath for you guys. But thank you so much for lunch. Thank you for staying behind. I know this part of the day is probably one of the hardest times to try and stay awake, especially after a good lunch. I didn't mention this at church time during the sermon, but I've never been to a church where my face was blasted up the front of the cover. So thank you. I took a photo and I sent it to my wife, and she said, "Keep one, please, just keep one, because now you're famous. Look at you." But this is a very nice welcome. When I walked through the doors, I got a handshake from the elder that was at the door and handed me the bulletin, and I said hello, and they're welcome. And I looked and I said, "Wow, that's me." It certainly is you. Welcome into our church. So I want to share a little bit about myself before we launch into some fun stuff this afternoon about families. So I was enjoying ministry. I did ministry for 18 years in Western Australia. First, I served up in a place called Carolandi. Carolandi is our Aboriginal Education Centre. So it's about 9 hours from Perth. So when I finished Avondale, they called me to Carolandi, and I did what every good pastor would do. They didn't research where Carolandi was. So I just got excited that I got a call into ministry. So I thought, I'll go and, we'll find out when we get there. I'm sure it's not that far. So I got into Perth, midnight flight in January, got into Perth. No one was at the airport to wait for me. And I knew no one in WA. So I stood there and I'm waiting. You know how you go into, if you've been part of a group and you go into the airport and there's people with the signs, "Welcome so-and-so." Well, I was waiting for that. There's nothing. So after midnight, I was wandering up and down, and there was this man that was standing there, and I looked at him and I was like, "Oh man, I got to tell him my predicament." So I went over and said, "Excuse me, sir, this is what's happening to me. I'm here because," and Carolandi, by the way, they booked my flight, so they should know. But I got there and I said to him, "Yeah, this is what's happening with me." And it happens that his wife was there, and he looked at his wife and he looked back at me. He looked at his wife about 3 or 4 times, and then he looked at me and goes, "Well, I guess you're coming home with us." So I went home with them, and I spent a week with them. I finally made contact with Carolandi, and they were able to pick me up. But then I said to the family, "They're coming to pick me up." "Oh, no, you're not going. You're not going, are you?" And the kids, we got attached with the kids. So we finally ended up in Carolandi. It was 9 hours from Perth. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I've never travelled this far." But I was sitting in the back of a troopie. I don't know if you guys know the troopie. Sitting on the back of that, going up there. Spent 3 years there serving our Indigenous folks. It was a powerful time of learning for me as a young person. So coming out of Avondale, first one in my family to get a degree. I thought I knew it all. I thought, "Oh man, this is great." Got to Carolandi, it was a very humbling experience. I learnt so much. Connected well with the people. I learnt, this is one of the most important lessons that I've learned. I went in there trying to change things, but it wasn't until I learnt what the people were like. They didn't rush. So I had to learn to slow down and listen. And I listened. Sometimes our conversation, they will go for 20 minutes, non-conversation, it will go for 20 minutes of us just sitting there in silence. And I'm like, oh man, this is awkward. But it was building trust. They were building trust whether we can trust this guy. And then they will let you into their conversation. And finally they did, and I was there for 3 years. I went to the CEO my first 3 weeks, and I said to him, I'm really sorry, but I don't think I can last here. The culture shock, the practices, I was like, oh man. And he looked at me and said, well, give it 12 months, give it to the end of the year and then you can go. 3 years later, I was still there and I didn't want to leave. So there is something special about serving our Indigenous people as well. If you get the opportunity, or your grandkids get the opportunity, let them go out there and enjoy they'll learn so much. From there, I moved down to Perth, became chaplain at one of our schools there, and also pastoring one of our churches there, Livingston Church. Did that for 3 years, and went on to pastor one of our smaller churches, Osborne Park, north of the river, and also chaplain at the university, Murdoch University, where we planted a church, and also at the same time became chaplain for the hospitals. So in WA, the context is that when you're a chaplain of the hospital, you're mainly looking after the country people that come in, because WA is so wide and fast spread that, so I was looking after all the country people that were coming in, because the city people will have their own pastors. So that was my job and I've got so many stories to share about that, which this is not the place to share, but it's so good to see God at work. Learned so much. So from there, I went on to become the youth director in WA, and I served in that role for 11 years before moving out here to Melbourne. The reason why I give you this background is because October 2022, I was driving home from one of my youth visits, and I visited the country town called Esperance, one of the most beautiful places in Australia. My wife was from there, so I was visiting there. There's a youth group there for the weekend, and on my way back to Perth, I got a phone call from Graham Christian. And I'm like, oh, what is Graham doing? Why is he ringing me? So, and he said, Willie, can you pull aside over and talk to me? I said, okay. And he said to me, have you ever, would you consider coming to Victoria to do youth ministry? And I said, no, I've not considered it. And I'm sorry, it's not even on my radar. So I'm really sorry, Graham, but no, I'm happy here in WA. A week later, he rings me up. He said, well, Willie, have you thought about doing family ministries? And I'm like, oh, I have not done family ministries, Graham. I'm really sorry, but I have not even considered that. And I told him, I said, look, I sit next to Paroshka every day, because Pastor Paroshka, she's fantastic. She was our family ministries person in WA, and I said, I sit next to her. I see what she does, and she's really good at it. I can't do that. And he said to me, have you considered doing children's ministries? And I was like, no, I haven't. I haven't either. And I said to him, I am not looking at moving out of WA. I'm so sorry, Graham. I'm happy in WA. I think we're going to do a church plant. God is working on my heart at that time. 2 weeks later, he rings me up and he says, well, we're going to put a call through for you to do children and family ministries. And oh man, I feel sorry for your families in Victoria, Graham, because I've not done any work on family ministries. The thing for me was, and it changed the trajectory of my ministry. Youth ministry is fantastic. I love youth ministry. I think we need a lot of people that are passionate about our young people, and I'm one of them. But there was one point where I travelled so much. I got home, and our daughter at the time, our eldest, was 3 years old. I got home after being away for 3 or 4 weeks, and this is normal. And I opened the door to go in, and my wife greeted me at the door, and she came over to hug me. And our daughter ran and stood in between us and said to me, you don't touch my mum. And I'm like, oh. something has to change. I'm out here trying to save these young people, but who's looking after my family? And that is where I had to make changes in my ministry life. And when Graham said, well, we're going to put a call through for you to come and do family and children ministries. And I tell you what, I've been loving it, been learning a lot. We had Pastor Graham, Brian Craig. He's a fantastic man. When he talks about family ministries, it's brilliant. So today I'm going to share some of the stuff that he shared with us, or trying to share some of the stuff he shared with us. But before we do that, I want to start with something exciting. Okay, so you're all sitting next to people that you know and that you talk to a lot. So we're going to start with a simple activity, a fun activity to warm us up, but also keep us awake.
I ask you, when you moved to Victoria, was that another cultural shock?
So I always loved the cold. My wife she does not love the cold or like the cold at all. But the thing was, my wife was very close to her Nana. Nana was everything. And we could not move out of WA before Nana passes. So Nana passed away in 2022, and she got buried on the same day Queen Elizabeth was buried. And she was 100 and a few months old. So, and she vowed, I want to get a letter from the Queen, not from the King. So she got a letter from the Queen. But when she passed, my wife, she said, I don't mind the cold. We will go. So when we're here, we love being here. We've been here for 3 years now, and I think this is the place to be. The only difference is it's so far to get to places. I know it's smaller than WA, but we live in Heathmont, and I typed up, and it was like maybe 40 kilometres to come here, and took me an hour. In WA, when it says 40 kilometres, it's about half an hour or less. But that's the only difference. So I want to do a little activity with you guys, and it's called Family Snapshot. So if you don't mind moving around, or if you want to sit with whoever you're sitting with, but I like you to share. Give you 2 minutes each. Share a story from a memory that you have, joyful memory that you have, either from your family when you're little, childhood, or with your spouse, or with your children. I'll give you 2 minutes each. Now you can share with the person next to you, but most of you are spouses, or you can find someone around the room that you can share with and enjoy. So 2 minutes. 1, share a story from your childhood, or with your spouse, or with your children. Actually, take 2 each. Take 2 each. Sorry? That's right, exactly. Remembering, like in our Sabbath school, I think we were asked the question, what monument or memorial? So very good for bringing that up. Anyone want to share very quickly any fun stories? Or you shout out the gist of the story, or what made it fun.
So is that the one we just talked about?
The one that you just talked about, yeah.
I had a fun time. Next week, Adam Brass Band is coming, and my son was playing in Adam Brass for 7-8 years.
Oh, nice.
Which instrument?
Oh, very nice. See, did you know that?
Fun fact.
No.
Which one? Oldest?
Adrian.
Youngest.
And wherever they were playing that Sabbath, I took him. So I went to different churches.
Yeah.
And one beautiful time I had with him, they went to Lotto Island for 10 days.
Yeah.
Of course, cheaper traveling. And what's that?
Close. The mic.
Yeah, okay.
They want to hear your story. This is so good.
Well, we went to Lotto Island, and we were at different places. They have a lot of accommodation when guests coming, you know. And I was with one couple, and we had a good time. Every evening we had evangelism, and they were playing, of course, and there was pastor with us. There was pastor with them, and so he would have a short sermon and a lot of music, and people were coming every evening. We had
Very good.
evangelism, yeah.
That's exciting. Wow. We didn't know that, did you? All right, very quickly. Anyone else? Yeah, you want to share a little story?
I'll have to make it little.
I'll give you a minute.
My wife knows this story. My father left when I was 7. I just started going to school. He left to Germany, migrated. And I didn't see him for 8 years. And I remember every night and morning when we go to sleep or wake up, it was always that we pray for him. We always prayed because we love the family, but our dad is not there. I missed him a lot. But then one day, my cousin came to school to pick me up and brought some clothes with him. And I said, "What is this for?" He said, "No, just dress up, you'll find out." And as I walked in the house, and I saw a man standing there, and I didn't know that's my dad, because he changed. And I walked in, they said, "That's your father." I jumped, I grabbed him, I holded him so tight.
Wow.
That night, because he had to come illegally again before they catch him, and he stayed one night, and we, as a family, we've been together, and that was the most enjoyable thing.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that one. Wow. All right, our last one.
Last one.
Last
Short or?
Short.
Short. Okay. My mom was Catholic. When I was young, between 4 to 5 years, we accepted to be Adventist, but she's not. And was Easter, was snow in a Croatian. She going to prepare it cakes for us. We forget it was Saturday, but we said, okay, yes, we love it cakes. And suddenly, my mom was already have a shower. She got long hair, firewood. How is she making that? Suddenly, flame coming out, ran to my mom. Ran to my mom, and we just look at. She going to burn. What's happened? And when flame come in, we said, "What's happened, Mom?" He said, but you don't hear it what I hear it. This is my holy day. Don't work Sabbath. And from that day, my mom learned Holy Sabbath because she was so strong Catholic, right? So she can't believe it Sabbath. She only Sunday. But that day we remember forever.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Powerful stories. Isn't it interesting that a lot of the memories that we have, it's either of laughter, love, or togetherness. It's not coincidence, because that's what makes family strong. Those memories, those laughter, love, and togetherness. So I want to share with you some very important research that's been done. And when they did these researches, or this research, and I love this quote from Ellen White before I move on to the research, the family tie is the closest, the most tender and sacred of any on earth. It was designed to be a blessing to mankind. The research that was done, it was done in the 1970s and 1980s. And they were looking at answering one simple question. One simple question. And that question was, what makes family strong? Keep that in mind. And it was done by the University of Oregon. And we will get into that, but I want to firstly look at the vision, God's vision for families. Yeah, you're holding that mic. You're like, oh, uncomfortably. Oh, I'll put it down here. What's God's vision for families? So I believe these are the visions God has for our families. God's vision for families involves creating a strong, faithful unit for worship, love, and bearing witness to the world. Do you agree? His vision begins with the covenant of marriage, intended to be a faithful, to be fruitful, and raise children to love and honor God. Family is to be a place of support, a foundation for a godly community, and an essential part of the larger purpose to bring God glory and continue His work on earth. I believe that is God's vision for families. So I want to take you through some core values or core principles of family. Principle number 1, the marriage and family is a foundational institution. God created the family unit from the beginning, and it serves as a fundamental building block of society. Marriage is a sacred covenant. The marriage between a man and woman is a sacred and profound union, intended to reflect the relationship between Christ and His church, like I talked about earlier on today. Husbands are called to love their wives as Christ loved the church, and wives are called to respect their husbands. Core principle number 3, procreation and raising children. The command, be fruitful and multiply, from Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, indicates that families are meant to grow and fill the earth. More importantly, they are meant to raise children to fear God and keep His commandments. Core principle number 4, family is to worship and to glorify God. Like I shared with you this morning during my sermon, my eldest daughter wanted to do worship, and it's fantastic. Now they fight over who prays. And what I love, and I really want to do this someday, is actually take my kids to Samoa. And I think we might live there for a little while so the kids can catch the language. So my eldest daughter, she just prays every prayer in Samoan. I don't know whether she understands what she's saying, but she knows how to pray in Samoan. So when my family come over and and she prays, they're like, oh, wow. Their kids don't know how to pray in Samoan. Yet they're full Samoan, where my kid is half Samoan. So I get really excited, and I want to teach my kids the language. It's beautiful. Don't lose the language if you do teach it at home. But the primary purpose of family is to worship God together and to be a witness to His will to the world. Every family member is to have a relationship with God with the ultimate purpose of bringing Him glory. Core principle number 5, a family is a place of love and support. Families are designed to be a place of love, support, and mutual care, a safe haven for everyone through life's challenges. Number 6, family is to partner with the church. While the family is unique and cannot be replaced by the church, it is meant to work in partnership with the church. We have an obligation as a church to our families. Check in on each other. How many families have you rung this week? How many families that they can say when they leave our church, they can say, I feel at home in that church because they care about me and my kids. We have an issue in our church. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest with you this afternoon. Especially during COVID, we are struggling to get families back into church in some of the churches that we have. And I've asked them why. What's happening? What's going on? Why aren't you back at church? Oh, well, church doesn't care. No one rung us. We're trying to ring people, but no one cared for us. So I think as a church, we have a responsibility to make sure that those that are in our care and we worship together, like this morning, someone mentioned community. Israel was able to cross the Red Sea together because they were a community, one heart, one mind. This is a community. This is a family community. So this is core principle number 4. Church and families need a partner. So this is the question that this study wanted to answer. But I just wanted to paint a picture of God's vision and the core principles of families. But this study looked into families. What makes families strong? So they done this study. And the State University of Oregon, they studied hundreds of families across different countries. Oh. Just answer this one simple question. What makes families strong? But the surprise is, they discovered surprise. And the surprise is this. The surprising thing they discovered is that strong families don't necessarily avoid problems. Every family has struggles, challenges, and seasons of stress. But what separates healthy, thriving families from those that fall apart are the set of 6 consistent qualities. And I want to show you those 6 consistent qualities or traits of a family. So here are the 6 traits of a strong, healthy family. 1 is that they express appreciation and affection. When we went to lunch, someone told me, I never tell my wife I love them, but they know I love them with my action. Does your husband or wife know that? They show appreciation and affection. Number 2 is they have strong commitment to each other. Number 3, they have effective and positive communication patterns. Number 4, they enjoy time together. Do you enjoy time together?
Yes.
Yes, very much. Excellent. They are spiritual. They have a good spiritual health. They talk faith, they live faith, they have a purpose. And lastly is that they manage stress and crisis effectively. Now, we're going to go through each one of these and we're going to have activities that come along with it. So I've given you a piece of paper and I want to do a promotion for my friend, good friend Sylvia as well, Sylvia Mendes. We worked on this project called the Worship Project. So I've got, if you want to give this to your child or grandchild, I've got 2 pencil cases to give out. There you go. 1. Anyone else? Yes. Okay. So the reason why I do that is because I've got pens in here. So, and also I've got the Worship Project pens. So if you want one of those, I can give you a pen. You can have 1. You can have 1. And since you got a great story, you can have another one. But anyone else needing a pen?
No, we're good.
You're good?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Because we're going to do some writing. Okay?
Sorry, can we have, should you have more?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So these 6 traits, they show up over and over again. No matter what family size you have or culture or stage of life that you're in, they've reported that these 6 family traits hold families together very strongly. So we're going to go through each one individually. But as we do, and as I take you through and we walk through all this, I want you to think of these 2 things, these 2 questions. Where do we already see this trait in our family? And what is one small step could we take to grow in this area? So keep those 2 things in mind, because that's what I want you guys to think about as we go through each of these 6 traits. Good afternoon, Pastor. Trait number 1 is express affection and appreciation. Families speak in positive and affirming ways and express the love they have for each other. This is about how we show love in everyday ways. Strong families don't take each other for granted. They regularly say, I love you. They show kindness and express gratitude. I take my daughter to school every day, even though my wife works at the school. I take her to school. And when we get to school, I would have thought that at that age, she would be like, Dad, you can go now. Have you ever experienced that? Dad, no, I don't want you to be here. Dad, go. But I love my daughter because she just loves having me around. And she won't go off until I tell her, I love you, baby. She's 9 now, or she's 8, turning 9 next month. And I asked her, do you want me to stop calling you baby? Oh, no, Dad, just call me baby. I'm like, okay, are you sure? Even like at school? She goes, yeah. She just loves calling me baby. So don't underestimate the power of your words when you affirm your family member. Okay, so first activity that I want to take you through. Write 3 short notes of appreciation for a spouse, child, parent, or a family member. For example, I love how you always make me laugh, or thank you for making dinner last night. So on the piece of paper that I've given you, write 3 short appreciation notes to either a child or your parent or a family member. If you're sitting next to your spouse and you don't want them to see, then just block it off. Hey, tell them you can't copy. All right. If you have finished, keep writing. If you haven't, keep writing. I'm not going to stop you, but you have another minute. But if you have finished and your spouse is here, or that person that you're writing a note to is here, I want you to give it to them. If they're not here, don't worry. You can give it to them when you get home, or you can be creative and mail it to them. How many of us get, snail mail nowadays? We don't, hey. We just check the mail for bills. But how nice would it be if you got a nice envelope with a stamp on it and send it to them, eh? I can see someone still writing, which is fantastic. The art of writing, we're losing the art of writing, aren't we? Now with our phones, texting all the time. But keep writing. There's some laughter happening here. Do you want to share why you're laughing? I actually want to hear this. I want to hear what you're laughing about here.
Trust me, you don't want to hear.
All right. They're still on. Okay, so how simple is it to do this? This is very simple but powerful, isn't it? I remember when, in fact this week, but nearly every day, my 4-year-old comes back from ELC or Early Learning Centre and she goes, "Dad, I made this for you." And all over it is like scribble, but it's for me. She made it for me. When I look at it, she goes, I asked her, "So what does this mean?" "Oh, that's a love heart, Dad. I love you." I said, "Oh, okay." And then once she draws pictures of our whole family. So she drew me as this big, long stick figure. And I'm like, "I'm not that tall, Dad. I mean, Cora." She goes, "But Dad, you're big." These are simple things, but they are very powerful. So don't underestimate the power of showing appreciation. Let's go to the second one. Oh, I love this one. Families that thrive practice appreciation daily. Don't be scared to tell your spouse or your kids how much they mean to you and how much you love them. Let's go to the next one. It leads us to the next one. Commitment. Strong families see themselves as a team. They are loyal to one another and put each other first, even when it's hard. Sorry, I read the bottom one. They are deeply committed to promoting each other's happiness and welfare and show their commitment by investing time and energy in family activities. I've got another little activity, or actually discussion time for us. So turn to someone near you or next to you and share one way your family shows commitment. Maybe it's supporting each other at events, sticking together during illness, or praying for each other. I remember growing up in a little country town, and I loved playing footy. In fact, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet, but I was very good at it. I got paid to play football. But the one thing that I was missing was my family never came to watch me. That was one thing that I was always missing. As a kid, I was playing and I always look out. Oh, is my uncle here? No. Not one game he came and saw me. So I'd give it up. It's like, well, they don't care. You see the feeling that your family gets when things like that. So the person next to you, I want you to share with them one way that your family shows commitment. Yep, you can do it with your spouse. You can do it with people next to you. Share one way that your family or you guys show commitment to each other. I can see some laughter happening. All right, I'm sorry to cut your discussion short. There's an activity I want you to do now. On your piece of paper, I want to keep this activity based so that we can stay awake. So on your piece of paper and in your group with your family or with the person next to you, create one family promise. Create one family promise. For example, we will always eat dinner together once a week. Or we will never give up on each other. Write down one family promise you'd like to live out. Like I said, no matter what stage in life you're at, whether you're a single parent, you're single, you're married, you're a grandparent, this workshop and this applies to all of us and it's for all of us. So, this activity, write one family promise that you would like to live out. You can write it together as spouse. And I'll give you 3 minutes. It's either you have a good promise that you want to keep.
Not easy for me.
All right, you're like, this guy's making us think too much. I don't want you to fall asleep. All right, so now, how we talk to each other matters. How we talk to each other matters. So let's look at communication, effective and positive communications. Communication is a lifeline of every family. Strong families listen to each other, speak kindly, and solve problems together. There is an activity. Oh, sorry, do you want to go back? Yeah, I can go back. When we first got married, my wife doesn't communicate very well. Now, I'm not putting my wife down, but that was an issue for us at the start because I love talking. When we were in bed, I just talk all night, just tell her everything that's happened in the day. And she just goes, yeah. And then I ask her, how was your day? Yeah, it was good. Anything fun happen at school? Oh, no, not really. So, as a guy that loves talking, I love to know everything that's happened in her life because for me it shows that I'm interested. And for me to get one word answers from her, for me what that spoke, it said to me that she doesn't care about my life. She doesn't want me in her life either. So I was struggling. I was like, hang on, I'm telling you everything. You should be telling me everything too. So I had to say to her, honey, like you know me, I like to communicate things. And she said, but this is me. Like what you see is what you get. I said, okay. So I had to learn it. And you know what? We've just grown in that area. We've made sure that, hey, we got to talk. we talk. There's a lot of stuff that we had to go through and chat about as husband and wife to get to the point where we just know each other well. So communication is the lifeline of every family. Now, we've got 2 kids that we cannot tell it like, be quiet, like hurry up, be quiet. Every night is a struggle for us because they communicate too well with each other. So when they go to bed, our little one, she's awake all night talking. So I go in and said, Cora, you got to go to sleep. Her excuse is, I don't know whether you've experienced this, but she says, but Dad, I can't sleep. And I'm like, you can, just close your eyes. She goes, but I can't sleep. And I'm like, just go sleep, Cora. But I don't know how to sleep. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know how to sleep? I don't know how to go to sleep. And I said, well, close your eyes. I don't know how to close my eyes, Dad. And I showed her, I said, here, look at my eyes. This is closing your eyes. But Dad, I can't because I got too much to say. She communicates too well. So, activity. In pairs, role play this scenario. Okay, so this scenario is, you may have been there or may just getting there now, but a child comes home late and forgot to call you. One person is the parent and one person is the child. Role play the negative version first. When the child comes home, you start yelling and blaming and saying all sorts of things to the child. And then I want you guys to switch and role play the positive version where you're listening, where you're expressing concern, where you're problem solving. Can you do that for me? Very quickly. If you're a group of 3s, one of you can watch. But this is a role play. This is communication at its best. Both negative and positive. So one is the child and one is the parent. All right? And this is going to be fun, eh? Especially the young ones. All right. I think it's just you. So what did you notice about the different approaches?
She might be upset.
There was a very vocal and animated couple here. How did you feel about the different approaches, the positive approach and the negative approach of communication? What did we notice? Both is needed.
I was very negative.
Yep.
She tried to be positive. That killed me.
So you gave up. That's a very good point, isn't it?
Don't do it again.
Yeah.
hospital a few years ago. I don't know how serious that, until I was in the hospital listening. And I noticed I have to give it help. And I have to be back. I go early in the bed, wake up early. She go opposite, light in the bed, light, wake up. So sometimes I worry. So is there something wrong? So we go stay high, I have to go upstairs. My leg is problem because white and wines, bleeding and that. So I said, thanks God to help me to go upstairs to check at my wife. So she's okay. So I said, thank you God for that. So helping each other. Am I preparing for her? Juice, whatever she's drinking and that. I said, thanks for that. Thank you for power to do that. And she done it for me. Reading lesson, reading books, because not because I know read, but I'm be slow with reading. Reason why? Because to be German, born in Croatia, is hard to explain to that language. So she's perfect with that, and I listen, and I got good memory. That's why we're together.
Sometimes communication is verbal and non-verbal. And your action speaks lots louder than your words as well. But you see, the positive communication doesn't avoid problems. It doesn't avoid problems. It solves them without damaging the relationship. Like you just mentioned that you were being negative, but then she was being positive back and you just couldn't handle it. So you just gave in. You're like, oh, wow, why am I this way? So, yes, positive communication solves problems without damaging the relationship. Let's look at one of the most enjoyable traits, and that is spending time together. Spending time together. Families enjoy being together and know that if they don't prioritize the scheduled time together, it won't happen. Sometimes love is spelled Time, time. It makes a big difference. Healthy families prioritize time. It's not always about expensive trips. Often it's about meals. It's about games, walking, or worshipping together. My kids, we love the outdoors. My wife loves the outdoors. But sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced this with your kids, but you want your kids to go out and play. Oh, I don't want to go outside. I'm bored. I'm staying here. But once they get outside, oh my goodness, you can't stop them. They come back inside. They're like, this is so fun. You try and get them to go have a bath or a shower. They're too busy playing outside. You call them, it's dinner time. Like 3 or 4 times, they still won't come in. And you go out and like, how many times do I have to tell it's dinner time? And then my little daughter comes to me, Dad, can you play with me, please? I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. But yes, I'll come. And you see the light in her eyes. Dad, I'm going to do this to you. And then she tries to paint my nails, and I'm like, oh no, you cannot paint my nails. Can I colour your eyes? And I'm like, no, definitely not. Oh,
Are you referring this to like when you have little children? What about dealing with teenagers?
teenagers, oh man, that's a good question. Teenagers is a different kettle of fish, isn't it? You find it sometimes though, like we have a niece and nephew that are in their 20s now, but when they were teenagers, they just didn't want to go anywhere. They did not want to do anything. They stayed in their rooms, on their phones, on like their little games. We just had to force them out. We didn't go and pull them out. We just had to be creative and make it fun. Like, okay, what do you want to do then? Let's go and do it together as a family. Even that was a struggle at times. So I'm still learning how to live with teenagers. If you have ideas, because my kids aren't teenagers yet, so hopefully when I get there, hopefully I've built a good enough relationship with them now that they will still be interested in me when they are teenagers. That's the key, is build a relationship now when they are that age, they can still come back to mum and dad. I had a conversation with one of my friends who works with me, and she's like, my kids are in their 20s. They're married. They're getting married. One of our daughters is getting married. And she said to me, they still ring me up and talk to me. Mum, I'm going through this thing. Like, what do you think? And she said to me, I'm amazed because I thought at that age, they'll just go away. They'll just do it on their own and then mum will be the last resort. But no, mum is like the first resort. And we broke it down and we agreed that she had a really good relationship with her kids. They trusted her, they knew they were loved. So when they were old now, they just rely on mum. They know that mum will always be there for them, if that makes sense. So time together. Healthy families prioritise time. It's not always about expensive trips. We bought a caravan a few years back because we wanted to go camping. The kids love camping, but Dad is like, do I have to set the caravan up now? These are special moments, but it's not always those moments. It's little moments like sitting down with them and reading a book, sitting down with them and talking. My wife does this really well with our daughter, our eldest daughter. She sits down and talks to her. So, how was school today? So, if there's one of your friends that we could pray for, who would it be? And why would we want to pray for her? So those little moments are very special moments. Activity. On your paper, write down your family's top 5 enjoyable low-cost activities. Then share one idea with the group. All right. Anyone game enough to share one idea with the group from their top 5? Yep.
Camping with friends.
Camping with friends. Is there a special spot that you go camping?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. Camping with friends. Yeah, Peter.
What about like the churches? We have got young people here, and we go to other churches. We call him here. He said, "No young people." What we can do like that time?
What can you do with that type? Okay, that is a question that I can answer another time after this one. Is that all right? Yeah, yeah. Because we're looking at retaining young people, if that makes sense. Is that all right? Yeah.
Motorbike ride.
Motorbike ride. If you have a, that's not a low cost. I'll have to go and buy a motorbike. Motorbike rides is fun. So do you enjoy? Is he safe on the motorbike?
But it's
Sometimes.
rare.
Rare. He's still working on getting motorbike rides. If you or bike rides. Yeah, yeah, bike rides.
No, bike is too much.
No, that's the whole point, to make them tired so they sleep.
when they come home, they're tired.
Yeah, let's drink water by say camping.
Camping is a good. I was going to say, oh, sorry. Ooh, now you're talking my language. Fishing is good. I've been out fishing. I don't know, the last time I went out fishing was not too long ago, and I caught like nothing but the cold. So it seems like at least I caught something. But these are very special moments, isn't it? Activities and spending time doesn't have to cost too much. I've built a good relationship, I think, and I'm still working on building a good relationship with my kids. But when we moved, ever since we've moved here, I made sure that Sundays were my date with the girls and let Mum sleep in for a little bit because she works hard. So Sunday I take them out either to the park or sometimes I'm naughty and I take them to McDonald's because there's a playground in McDonald's where the girls just love playing. Not so much eating because they just see the park and they want to go and play. And these are the moments that my kids are loving it. They love our time together. But it's low cost. Low cost. The most expensive thing that we've done is actually go snowboarding. And we love snowboarding. As a family, our 4-year-old just picked up snowboarding this year. We went and my wife and I were looking at each other and thinking, do we get her into lessons? And then we found out the lessons will cost $200 and we're like, we don't have $200. Let's just teach her ourselves. So I gave her a snowboard and I said, okay, just wait there. Let me put something on. And I turned around and she was already snowboarding. And I'm like, wow, there you go. I don't need to teach you. But snowboarding as well, if you can get out there. Who had their hand up? Someone had, oh. Yeah. Low cost, not high cost, but that's once a year. That's, yeah.
About your children, it's low cost. But when they will be 15, 16, 19, it will be different.
I will cancel all the credit card that I have when they reach that age. Yeah. One of the things that I do now, and I don't know whether this is, what you think, but I teach my kids finance now. They're very young. They have their own bank account. But I teach them finances, how to manage finance, what to buy and what not to buy. Do they need it or do they just want it because it's there? And then teach them how to, okay, this is your gifting basket, this is your saving basket, and this is your spending one. Gifting includes your tithe and your offering. Saving, okay, if you want something big, I'm not going to buy it for you. So we went shopping recently and we went to the shoe section. And my daughter, eldest daughter, has been after some black shoes. And like we got there and she ran and got these shoes and she brought it to Mum and it was $40. And Mum said to her, well, it's $40. Like, serious, that's a lot of money. And she goes, oh, okay, well. And then Mum said, do you realise that you're going to have to buy it? And she goes, oh, hang on, Mum, let me get the other shoes. She came back with $8 shoes. So you're going to teach? Yeah. So I try to help myself in the future. All right, let's keep going because I promised myself that I'll get you out of here at 3:35, the latest. These moments build lasting memories and identity as a family. So those important times help build your children and your families. Now let's look at what grounds strong families. And this is what grounds strong families, the research discovered. They share valued and spiritual well-being. Having a shared sense of purpose and values grounded in faith. Families that are strong share a sense of purpose. For many, that comes from faith. Faith in God and purpose. So I have an activity for us to do. With your family or group, write one sentence, family mission statement. For example, our family chooses to serve God and love people with joy. That is a mission statement. What is your family statement? Mission statement. I don't know how many of you have written your family statements or mission statements down before, or have even ever thought about it. See, I came to this conclusion when I was on a plane to Sydney. I asked myself as I was sitting there on this flight, it's like, what do we stand for as a family? I know what I stand for as a person, but what do I want my family to stand for? So I started writing stuff on my iPad, and I still have it in my notes. And that was maybe 6-7 years ago in the plane. I started writing a mission statement for my family. And that's simply because I wanted to set an example for my kids. Now, I know when they grow up, they have their own minds, they can choose whatever, but as a parent now, they're under my roof, I want to set an example. So I wrote a mission statement for our family. I shared it with them, my wife at the time. Well, she's still my wife, but at the time I wrote it, I shared it with her. But what's your mission statement as a family? When families live by a mission bigger than themselves, they have strength and direction for the journey. We've been trying different things with our girls, especially getting them to see that service is really important. So since coming over to Victoria, in the Children's Ministries department, I found that serving together as a family has a big impact on our kids staying in faith and staying connected to God. So we implemented on our calendar, the Children's Ministries calendar for Victoria, we implemented 2 days of serving together as a family. And that is in March when we have Clean Up Australia Day. We put down there, serving. This is a great day for families to go and serve together. And the other one is in September. And the reason why we put it in September is because there's a week of family togetherness, week of prayer for the whole week, where families pray together or encouraged to pray together. And then at the end of that week, we put a serving together on component. Because we believe serving together, you're actually living out Jesus for your kids to see. My kids are getting that, because they're very selfish at the moment. Everything's about them. Everything like me. So we've taken them out on these service days. Our younger daughter is more responsible than our oldest daughter. Our eldest daughter is academically good, but common sense is not so common with her. She's just really to play, but our little one gets it. Serving and that sort of thing. And we're still working on it. We're not perfect yet, not there yet, but we're still working on helping our kids know that if we live for a bigger mission than ourselves, we have strength and direction. Our final trait, and this is crucial, manage stress and crisis effectively. I recently went to Samoa because this year has been one of the toughest years in my life. So I've conducted so many funerals this year of family members. But in the month of July and August, so my dad passed away on July 28th, and 4 days later my brother passed away. So I had to travel to Hawaii, I had to travel to Samoa, because my dad was in Hawaii and my brother was in Samoa. And for some reason, we couldn't do it one after the other. So my mum said to me, and she told me to go to Samoa instead of coming to Hawaii. And the toughest part for me was having to watch my dad's funeral live stream. Managing stress and crisis effectively. But while I was in Samoa, the reason why I tell you that story is that while I was in Samoa, our family had a big argument on the last night before I had to come back. It was that big that it split the family up to this day. No one is talking to anybody else. And it was that bad that they decided to say, I'm no longer part of this family. Those were the words that were used. And as a minister, as a pastor, as a leader, I had to calm things down. So I'm in a process of getting my family back together slowly. Chatting to each person individually. They're not quite there yet, but we're slowly getting there. Families are not immune or exempt from difficult days and challenging situations, but they develop strategies so that they can pull together rather than fall apart. And they face difficulties together with resilience and hope. This is a case study, and I know we're 1 minute over, but imagine a family losing a job suddenly. Discuss in your groups, we can do this together. How do you think, how would a not so strong family respond, and how would a strong family respond when they are hit with crisis? This is just a case study for you to think about, because I don't want to keep you any longer than what we need to stay here for. The difference is resilience. Strong families adopt, lean on their support networks, and they keep hope alive. For us as Christians, I love that we have Jesus. I love that we have Jesus. And I love that we can go to him anytime of the day and all night. So to end our time together this afternoon, group reflection. We'll now look at the 6 traits of strong families. Take a moment to look at your notes. Which trait is already a strength in your family? Now, the notes that I've asked you, that I've given you a piece of paper to write on, which of those traits is already a strength in your family? And which one could use the most growth? Circle one area you want to work on first, and remember, small, consistent steps lead to big changes. Now, I love podcasts. I don't know how many of you listen to podcasts. There's a leadership podcast that I listen to because I love leadership and I want to grow in my leadership. Because when leaders get better, everyone wins. And there's a podcast the guy by the name of Greg Groeschel. And he says this, and I've always remembered, I heard it years ago from him, but he says, successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. You know? And if we want to be successful in our journey, Christian journey, let's be consistent in our spending time with God and each other. So circle one area from your notes that you want to work on first. And remember, small, consistent steps lead to big changes. Consistency is important. And our final commitment is on your piece of paper, write one simple action you will take this week. For example, I will eat a meal with my family without phones, or I will say thank you daily. Now, we may look at that and think, oh man, that's so simple, but it's hard for some families. Around the table, Have you ever been to a family situation where everyone's on their phones? I've been to a lot and I've seen a lot. I'm trying to talk to people and they're like, I have to send them a text. Get off your phone and talk to me. Oh. But on your piece of paper, write one thing that you want to do this week. And that's it for us this afternoon. I hope that's been helpful. Those 6 traits that the study came up with and they found, because they were wanting to have one question answered. What makes strong families? And they came up with these 6. Let's pray together. Father God, thank you so much that we have you on our side. And the good thing about these traits that we've been learning about today is that we're not born with it. We can learn it. And we don't have to do it on our own. That you're always there guiding us through. We make mistakes, but we can fall back on you because you We love you, Jesus. Can't wait to see you when you come again on that beautiful day. Amen.
Well, thank you, Uili, for coming and sacrificing your family time for us here this afternoon. We did learn a lot, and I'm sure we will work on our family values and mission statements. How about that? Thank you, and may God bless you in your journey. And we are sending hellos to your wife and your girls as well. And may I have you guys to give them a big round of applause for being and spending time with us.